What's up, everybody? I am Brandon, and we got a buttload of Game Awards news to talk about. Jeff Keighley's yearly spectacle, the Game Awards, premiered last Friday, and with it we got a bunch of new world premiere trailers for games that were either unannounced or we hadn't heard much about yet. And of course I got all the good, the bad, and the cringe to go over with you guys today on another episode of Game Corner. Really quick, if you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and I won't waste any more of your time. Jumping right into it, we got Sting, who was at the Game Awards for some reason. I'm really not sure who invited Sting to the show, and I'm not sure what he had anything to do with video games, but I like Sting, I like the Police, and I like that he's here for some reason. He was easily one of the best music acts there. You could tell that he was the most experienced, for sure. So a round of applause to Sting, guys. Yeah, pretty solid way to open the show, guys. So keep in mind as we go through this that I don't have everything in a exact specific order, but we're kind of going to go through the big highlights of the gigantic 3-hour show. So if you guys feel like you're missing anything, I'll leave a link or two down below so you can get the rest of the trailers and stuff that maybe I didn't cover here. Next up was our first award for the night. It was the best indie game, and it was won by Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I actually really love this game. I totally think they deserve best indie game. Once again, there were plenty of other great indie games as well, but this happened to be one that I'd played all the way through and really enjoyed, and it was nice to see them win an award. Ember Labs is a pretty new studio, and this really brings a lot of respect to their name. Like I've said before, I'm pretty sure that Sony is going to end up picking this studio up at some point if somebody else doesn't, because they seem to be working really hard and doing some good stuff over there, and it was already an exclusive over on PlayStation, so there might be a little bit of a connection there. After our first award, we got our big world premiere trailer for Senua's Saga HellBlade 2. Senua's Saga HellBlade 2. Anyway, I haven't actually gotten to finish the first title in the series. I really want to. It's on my backlog right now, but oh my god. The trailer for this game is absolutely bonkers looking. You can definitely tell where Microsoft's money is going to because holy fuck. I think that might be one of the most beautiful CGI graphic sequences I've ever seen in my entire life. That it was there wasn't any weird uncanny valley effects, at least for the most part. And the camera work was so solid and smooth, and the textures and the way the giant moves, and just the whole scene is absolutely stunning and beautiful. Like, I'm honestly really impressed with Ninja Theory and Xbox here, if I'm being completely honest, because, I mean, they were really trying to go for a cinematic PlayStation exclusive experience, and, I mean, they got it here, for sure, in full effect. Well, I'm flabbergasted. I'm amazed. It was a really spectacular trailer. I hope that the game lives up to that. I've only heard good things about the first game, so I can only imagine that they got a hit on their hands here. This looks really cool. Right after that, we got the Star Wars Eclipse trailer. It's the new Quantic Dream game that's going to be coming out soon. I was less excited about this. I'm not a huge Quantic Dream fan. David Cage isn't exactly my favorite storyteller in the world, and I don't know, I just generally find those games really tedious and not really that enjoyable to play, honestly. So while that was a really beautiful trailer, and you can once again tell where that Disney money is going to with that absolutely insane CGI trailer, it's kind of hard for me to get excited about a game that I know exactly how it's going to play. I know exactly what it's going to be like. It's going to be a very slow, quick time driven, boring story game, and I just don't know if I have the willpower for that. So if that's your thing, more power to you. It is not my thing. We got our second award up next. It was Best Art Direction. I really just don't think it's necessary to go through every single nominee. It's going to take way too much time, and this video is already going to be really long. So Best Art Direction went to Deathloop, which is also an absolutely fantastic game. I feel like there was a lot of bangers this year, genuinely. There was a lot of really good video games. Nothing that, like, you know, blew me out of the water. Nothing necessarily that I think is like a masterpiece sort of situation, but a lot of really solid video games. And Deathloop is one of those games. While the ending, it leaves a little bit to be desired, the art direction, they deservedly win this game, win this award. And I mean, once again, no offense to any of the other games that were there, a beautiful art direction this year. I think a lot of people are really using this next gen level of graphical fidelity to their benefit here. And I mean, you see that. Everybody's got their own thing, their own style, and they all really look beautiful. So, yeah, I mean, more power to Deathloop. Deathloop kicks ass. We could go into the gameplay and stuff like that, but as far as art direction goes, I think they deserve it. It has a very cohesive, late 60s, early 70s spy vibe going on, and that really just leaks throughout every little piece of that game. So, yeah, Deathloop kicks ass. I absolutely love this chick that shows up to tell you that, like, hanging out backstage is really boring. She's supposed to be there to be like, hey, look at what we're doing backstage. We got all this stuff going on, like, we're all hanging out and having a good time. And she shows up to just be like, it's really boring. Like, there's really nothing going on back here. All right, so we're jumping right back into an award here. The next one was the best performance, which was won by Resident Evil 8's Lady Dimitrescu. Vampire Lady was voiced by Maggie Robertson, and she surprisingly looks a lot like Lady D. I was pretty surprised by that, I gotta say. Right after Best Performance was a little teaser trailer for Wonder Woman, which is made by Monolith Studios. Every time we go over a new announcement or world premiere, I want to make sure you guys know who the developer is behind the game, so you can kind of get an idea of, like, how this game is going to play, because that has a lot to do with the excitement and the attitude behind a game announcement. With that being said, Monolith Studios is well known for making the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War series, which is kind of like an Assassin's Creed ripoff, if we're all being real here. Not really my favorite type of game, I have to admit, but a lot of people really like that sort of thing, and I know there was a lot of people who were really into those Monolith games. That being said, we can assume from the games they normally make that this is going to kind of be an open world action-adventure game where you're Wonder Woman and you run around the world and save stuff. I imagine just like Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, they're going to have like a really cool enemy system where maybe you have a bunch of bad guys, and as you either die or kill them, they go up and down the ranks. Something similar to the Nemesis system that they have. But yeah, like I said, not really much to go on here. It's obviously just a huge teaser trailer. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of people who are really excited at the idea of a Wonder Woman trailer, so there's that. All right, on to Alan Wake 2. On to something actually really, really interesting and cool. So we're getting a new Alan Wake game by Remedy Entertainment. Sounds like it's going to be more like survival horror themed, which I'm really into. The trailer obviously showed a more dark and deep Alan. So I'm excited at the idea of them going for a more mature rating, getting a little bit more in depth in the dark little details. Actually, I haven't finished the first Alan Wake. Once again, another game that's kind of on my back lot here that I need to get through. But I love Remedy Entertainment. Control is one of my favorite games of all time. So seeing them kind of go for a more mature rated Alan Wake game with more survival horror elements really, really excites me. And not that I need a horror game necessarily to scare me, but I like having some more solid horror elements without being dragged down by a T rating. Anyway, this game looks like it's going to be that for me, and I'm excited to give this a shot. Remedy Entertainment makes some of the most beautifully art-directed games out there right now, and genuinely, if you're not excited about this, I would get excited, because it's probably going to be the next big horror thing. Alright, we got a lot to go through here, so let's keep rolling. Next award is for Best Action Game. It was won by Returnal. That's Housemarque's Returnal. It's a third-person roguelike action game where every time you die, you respawn at the beginning, you collect weapons, you collect upgrades until you die, and then go back and back and back until you make it all the way to the end. Absolutely fantastic video game. Totally deserves the Action Award. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I've talked about Returnal before quite a bit, and obviously we don't have a lot of time, so let's keep rolling. We're gonna sneak another award in here for Best Narrative, which was won by Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, I think this was dutifully rewarded. A lot of people kind of look down on this game because, obviously because of the Guardians of the Galaxy patch that it had on the big front of it. I think a lot of people assumed that it was gonna be just like the Marvel movies, and maybe people were kind of sick of that and not really knowing what they're getting into. I was really surprised by this title. I originally picked this up because I kind of wanted to make like a make fun of it video, and I ended up loving this game, and it is beautifully crafted for a Marvel game, I have to admit. It honestly makes me think a lot of the Spider-Man games and just how beautifully made they are. It's definitely a different game. It's not open world by any means, and it definitely has some issues when it comes to platforming, I think is the biggest one. But aside from that, the game is beautifully made, and if you get the chance, I definitely recommend checking it out. Yo. That game looks fucking rad. Yo, check out this flute guy. He is fucking jamming. I love this guy's attitude. We need more of this all over the place. Can we just have flute guy make a reoccurring appearance at every single Game Awards? I think we're all big flute guy fans now, and this guy deserves some sort of award. He should get a Game Award, honestly, because I mean, he put in the most work out of anybody, I think. He was out there fucking shredding, dude. Alright, so right after Flute Guy fucking shredded it, we got a little trailer for Somerville, which is the new Jump Ship Studios game. They're a little indie developer who make really, really pretty little games. I don't know if you guys have heard of Inside and Limbo. I don't know. Two just little indie games, Inside and Limbo. It's not like anybody has heard of them or they're popular at all. So I don't know why you'd even bother playing Somerville. What just unknown weird title no one has ever even heard of. All right, well, we really got to get going. We're spending way too much time talking about video games here. So next up is Sonic Frontiers. It's a new Sonic game. They didn't show any gameplay or little to no gameplay. It's supposedly open world. Sort of washed my hands on that one. We'll see, I guess. If it's good, I'll eat my shorts. Another award coming at you right here. Best Action Adventure Game went to Metroid Dread. Once again, fully deserves it in my opinion. I'm really bummed that Psychonauts 2 hasn't won any awards yet, but damn, dude, Metroid Dread is so good. Just like how I think Returnal sort of nailed it as far as action goes, like pure action genre goes. I really do think that Metroid Dread is the best action adventure game that's been made in a while, if not this year, hands down. After that, we got the gigantic reveal for Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game. So this was something that was announced, I want to say about a year ago, back at the DC Expo. It was like a virtual expo they were doing last year because of COVID. We saw very little about this game other than like a teaser trailer, and pretty much it showed that like Rocksteady's making a video game. We finally got to see some actual gameplay from that and some actual, in-game footage here, and goddamn, looks great. Obviously, we'd only expect the highest of quality from someone like Rocksteady. They were the people behind the the Batman Arkham series. 2010's absolute classics. If you haven't played them, highly recommend you go back and play that series. Great stuff. Anyway, it looks like they're back to their old shit here. This even has a very Sunset Overdrive sort of look and feel to it. Everyone's got a lot of movement, it looks like. A lot of chances to jump around and do flips and bash things in the head with baseball bats. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm all for it. It's been a very long time since we played a Rocksteady game, so especially compared to Gotham Knights, this looks awesome. I personally am just excited to have a DC Comics game that doesn't totally suck ass. It's been a minute. All right, so next up is Imagine Dragons. I don't know what Jeff is doing here. This was a bad call. I feel like not only are they really bad, but like, does anyone even listen to Imagine Dragons? Like, it's not 2012 anymore. I don't know who decided that was a good idea. Does anyone listen to Imagine Dragons? Please stop. All right, next award, Best Ongoing Game, was given to Final Fantasy XIV. All right, so next award is Best Ongoing Game, and it was taken by Final Fantasy XIV. Once again, well deserved. That game literally came from the fucking grave, and it's now become like one of the most popular MMOs out there. So kudos to you. Kudos to you, Final Fantasy. Literally right after that, they showed a Saints Row trailer, and it really didn't give us a lot more than what we've seen previously. It was sort of just, you know, a little bit more gameplay, a little bit more flair on top of... It looks like they're trying to sell the game here in February, is what it looks like. I've never been a big Saints Row fan, honestly. I know that my buddy Chris is really into this series, and honestly, I've just been always more of a GTA guy. This was always a little too silly for me, but I know there's a lot of people out there who are really big fans of Saints Row, so I thought I'd throw it in here. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. I really hate Borderlands, and I don't want anything to do with this. We had a really quick trailer for Steel Rising. That's that Pinocchio, a lot of people are saying Bloodborne inspired game that's coming out here soon. You guys let me know down below if you think this game looks like Bloodborne. I definitely would agree with the people who are saying this looks a lot like Bloodborne. I can definitely see the comparison there. I would maybe even say like some Platinum Games a little bit in there. That being said, keep in mind that this is by Spiders Games, who also make games like Godfall, Greedfall, The Technomancer, Bound by Flame. Yeah, so all those Bloodborne comparisons, maybe visually speaking, are totally on point, but I would be really wary about this game on a gameplay or even a quality level. So next up, we got a real trailer for a game called Star Trek Resurgence, which is a Dramatic Labs game. If you don't know, Dramatic Labs is actually a makeup of a bunch of people that came from the Telltale's game studio and then went off to kind of branch out and make their own thing after the game studio went under. That was a big story. I want to say last year there was a really big falling out on that company and a lot of drama that went down. So it's kind of nice to see that people from that company are kind of coming back together and doing their same old adventure game sort of thing. I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan, so it's kind of fun to see that they're doing this whole video game series that takes place after Next Generation. That being said, I don't know if gameplay wise this is really going to be my thing. It sort of seems like an adventure game, which has always been kind of hit or miss for me. But I like to see that they're kind of expanding their gameplay options from just like selecting options and watching cutscenes to actually having some what looks like real gameplay, which is great. So how much money do you guys think they paid Jeff Goldblum to be in this Raid Shadow Legends commercial? It really is just weird to see this like huge top level celebrity doing I mean, objectively, what's a YouTube advertisement commercial, right? Like, I don't know, this just rubs me the wrong way. Alright, so one of the last big trailers we got was for Asobo's new game, Plague Tale 2. A Plague Tale is an absolutely fantastic game. I think it was free over on PlayStation Plus just a bit ago, so if you happen to pick that up, definitely play through it. Especially seeing as how the new game is coming out at the beginning of next year, you're going to want to make sure that you kind of are caught up with the story there. Basically, the game takes place way back in the old French Revolution, and you play as this girl and this little boy who are kind of making their way through the bubonic plague. And obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's kind of some cool supernatural elements that go into that. There's some really intense action and sort of set pieces going on there. And overall, it's a pretty solid game, especially being from a little indie studio. So go check that out. All right, so our last award before Game of the Year is the Best Game Direction, which ended up going to Deathloop. I do think this award is a little bit like a cop-out. It's pretty much like Game of the Year 2. While I do think that this award is a little bit lame, I do appreciate that Deathloop won it because I really, really love Arcane Studios. Anyway, I'm really, really happy that Deathloop ended up winning it. I absolutely adore Arcane Studios. They're one of my favorite game studios out there, and I think they just really make these engaging, smaller experiences, and that end up just working really, really well. Last but not least, we got a Elden Ring and a Matrix trailer. That's right, the Elden Ring trailer looked straight out of Two Towers, dude. I actually fucking loved it. I was gonna hate on it for, you know, looking exactly like Lord of the Rings, but my god, what a spectacle, dude. I think that was my second favorite trailer. It might actually be tied with Splitterhead because I thought that looked really, really cool too, but Senua's Saga, I think, takes it in the end. Anyway, man, that Elden Ring trailer was off the fucking chain. Then they showed that little Matrix demo off. It's actually a downloadable demo you can get on your PS5 and Xbox Series X right now. It kind of goes through this little demo showing you what can be of next-gen graphics, next-gen gameplay, and it actually is really, really cool. There are some seriously, like, uncanny valley elements to this game. I do think, especially when the action scenes start hitting, it doesn't really quite work for me. That being said, being able to walk around the city and visualize, like, the textures up close like that is really, really neat. And I think it kind of goes to show a lot of people who maybe don't follow game news or game graphics as closely as, you know, us. It kind of gives them a chance to look at this and really dream of what games can be and honestly what they really look like right now. So yeah, even though it's like a gigantic marketing demo, I highly recommend you check it out. It's really interesting and cool. Plus, it's free. All right, before we get to Game of the Year, I just want to throw a huge shout out to the TGA Orchestra. They absolutely crushed it, dude. It's grown from this like small little orchestral section into like a fucking epic sort of thing. It's really cool, and I'm glad to see that this show is getting more money and just recognition as a real award show. Especially as someone who's a big game fan, it's nice to see that we're being taken seriously as an entertainment medium. And last but not least, we got the Game of the Year award. Drum roll, please. That's right. The last thing I have to talk about on the show today is the Game of the Year award, which ended up going to It Takes Two. This is honestly a pretty epic win, I gotta say. I actually haven't finished It Takes Two. Me and my girlfriend are still playing through that right now. What I played through it, I absolutely adore. And while maybe I disagree that it could have won Game of the Year, I do think that he totally deserves it. Joseph Fares had an epic moment over on the Game Awards that's memed even to this day where he said, "Fuck the Oscars," you know? And it's kind of cool to see him taking an award home this evening on a game that he put his whole heart and soul into. And my heart goes out to you, Joseph. You kick ass. Congratulations on the award. Oh my god. Anyway, that was the Game Awards. I'm sorry that I had so much to talk about today. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't being reactionary and that I was able to give you guys a really good cohesive idea of what happened at the Game Awards and of the best things that were there. Anyway, I'm Brandon. We had a buttload of Game Awards stuff to talk about today, and this is Game Corner. If you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and have a kick-ass week.